Hello and welcome to the English Listen Lab. Today, we bring you a deeply moving and inspiring story for C1 level English learners. This is the story of a gifted ballerina who, after a tragic accident, loses all memory of her past life. As she struggles to regain her identity, she finds a new passion in the world of culinary arts. From performing breathtaking pirouettes to crafting exquisite dishes, her journey is one of resilience, transformation, and the rediscovery of purpose. Let's dive into this incredible tale. From the stage to the kitchen, a ballerina's journey to rediscovery. Chapter 1. A star on stage, Sophia Loren had spent her entire life on the stage. From the moment she could walk, she was dancing. By the age of 16, she had won prestigious international ballet competitions, and by 25, she was a principal dancer in one of the world's most renowned ballet companies. Every step, every movement was perfection. She breathed ballet. It was her language, her soul, her entire existence. She was set to perform the lead role in Swan Lake on one of the grandest stages in Paris. Critics predicted it would be a performance for the ages, an artistic masterpiece that would define her career. But fate had other plans. On the eve of her performance, as she was returning home from a late-night rehearsal, a speeding car crashed into her taxi. The impact was devastating. When Sophia awoke, she was no longer the prima ballerina the world admired. She was a blank slate. Chapter 2. A life erased. The hospital room was sterile, unfamiliar. The people surrounding her, crying, whispering, hoping, were strangers to her. She didn't know her name. She didn't know why they were looking at her with such desperate longing. "Sophia," her mother sobbed, clutching her hand. "Do you know who I am?" But Sophia could only shake her head. The memories were gone, as if someone had reached into her mind and stolen them away. She was no longer the celebrated dancer, the artist, the perfectionist. She was simply lost. Days turned into weeks. Her doctors reassured her that the brain had a way of healing, that her memories might return in time. But Sophia felt like a ghost of herself, trapped between a past she couldn't remember and a present she couldn't understand. She watched videos of herself performing. The woman on the screen was strong, fluid, graceful, almost unreal. Could that have truly been her? If so, why did every movement seem foreign, unnatural? Was she supposed to reclaim a life that felt like it belonged to someone else? Chapter 3. A struggle to dance. Determined to find her way back to herself, Sophia stepped into the ballet studio for the first time since the accident. The wooden floors, the mirrored walls, the familiar scent of resin and sweat. It should have felt like home, but it didn't. She tried to execute a simple plie. Her legs wobbled. The coordination that had once been effortless was now clumsy and unfamiliar. Frustration boiled inside her. How could something that had once been as natural as breathing now feel so foreign? Her instructors were patient, her family encouraging, but deep down, Sophia knew the truth. This wasn't her anymore. No matter how hard she tried, the connection was gone. The girl who had once lived to dance no longer existed, and that terrified her. Chapter 4. A new passion ignites. One evening, while aimlessly wandering the city, Sophia found herself in a bustling, open-air market. The aroma of freshly baked bread, sizzling meats, and fragrant spices filled the air. Without thinking, she stepped into a small bakery, mesmerized by the sight of golden croissants being pulled from the oven. Something inside her stirred. She watched as the baker carefully kneaded dough, his hands moving with precision and purpose. There was an art to it, a rhythm. She had lost the ability to dance, but could she create something else? On a whim, she enrolled in a beginner's cooking class. The first time she plated a dish, something clicked. The arrangement of ingredients, the balance of flavors, the delicate touch needed to perfect a sauce. It reminded her of the choreography she once loved. Cooking became her new stage, and food, her new art. Chapter 5. From dancer to chef, Sophia threw herself into the culinary world with the same intensity she had once given to ballet. She trained rigorously, learning from master chefs experimenting with flavors, and developing a unique style that fused her past with her present. She began crafting dishes inspired by the fluidity of movement, delicate soufflés that rose like an elegant leap, sauces that flowed like a graceful pirouette, desserts that told stories through intricate designs. Her creations were unlike anything the culinary world had seen before. After years of dedication, she opened her own restaurant, Pirouette, where each dish was a tribute to a dance movement. Critics raved, customers were enchanted, and soon, Sophia Laurent was not just a ballerina lost to memory. She was a world-renowned chef who had reinvented herself through a different form of artistry. Chapter 6. A restaurant is born. With years of training and experience in some of the finest kitchens, Sophia was ready for her biggest leap yet, opening her own restaurant. She named it Pirouette, a tribute to her past life as a ballerina. The concept was unique. Every dish was inspired by a ballet movement, reflecting grace, elegance, and precision. The opening night was both exhilarating and nerve-wracking. Would people accept a restaurant built on such an abstract idea? As the first guests arrived and the plates were served, the room was filled with awe. Critics and food lovers alike praised her ability to blend artistry with culinary excellence. Sophia had found her new stage. Chapter 7. Rising to Fame. As word spread, Pirouette became a sensation. Food critics called it a revolutionary fusion of movement and taste, and Sophia's reputation as a culinary artist grew rapidly. She was invited to international food festivals, interviewed by major magazines, and sought after for collaborations with top chefs. However, with success came pressure. The demands of running a high-end restaurant were intense, and Sophia often found herself exhausted. Balancing creativity with the stress of managing a business was a challenge she hadn't anticipated. But unlike before, this time she was in control. This was her creation, and she would make it work. Chapter 8. An Unexpected Reunion. One evening, as Sophia was overseeing the restaurant's operations, a familiar face walked in. It was her former ballet instructor, Madame Rousseau. The elderly woman had followed Sophia's journey through the media and had come to see how her once brilliant student had transformed her passion. Over dinner, they reminisced about the past. Madame Rousseau spoke of the grace Sophia had once displayed on stage, but also of how proud she was to see her student flourish in a new art form. It was a moment of closure. Sophia realized she hadn't lost her past. She had simply evolved into something new. Chapter 9. Redefining Success. Despite the restaurant's success, Sophia began to reflect on what truly made her happy. She had spent so much of her life chasing perfection, first in ballet and now in the kitchen. But was perfection what she truly sought? She decided to step away from the relentless pace of fine dining and focus on something more meaningful. She started a foundation dedicated to teaching young aspiring chefs, particularly those from disadvantaged backgrounds, giving them opportunities to explore the world of culinary arts just as she had. Her journey was no longer about proving herself. It was about giving back. Chapter 10. A Life Well Lived. Years later, Sophia stood in her kitchen, watching as a new generation of chefs worked with passion and creativity. She no longer needed the spotlight. She had found fulfillment in guiding others. Her restaurant continued to thrive, but more importantly, her story inspired countless people to embrace change and find new passions. She had transformed pain into purpose, and in doing so, had left a legacy far beyond ballet or cuisine. As she plated a dish for a guest, she smiled. Life, she realized, was its own kind of dance. Unpredictable, imperfect, but beautiful nonetheless. Thank you for following Sophia's incredible journey. Her story reminds us that even when life takes unexpected turns, new opportunities await. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more inspiring tales, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Stay tuned for more exciting content from the English Listen Lab. See you next time.